So in this episode we're going to get the cams in, I'm going to do some other bits and bobs to finish the head up. The next thing we want to do is get the cams, but before I get the cams in the engine, I want to replace the cam gears so I can adjust the timing. And these are some Buddy Club P1 cam gears for the B16 and B18. I've had these for ages and haven't had a chance to put them on yet. So there's two in the box, I'll open it all up and show you. First things to say about them is they're just very nice looking. And they're very well machined. If you leave them as they are now, so they're at the 0 point, see there, all the markings lining up. It doesn't matter if that's the inlet and that's the exhaust, whatever, you can put them either way, because they still have the markings on both here and there, and also there and there. So when you go to line this up to get the cam timing right, it will all be correct. What I need to do first is take off the old cam gears, the standard cam gears, off the cams, and I'll do that. And I have these seals which came in the kit, which I'll fit at the same time. The intake side, you can see this is the side that's got the dizzy on it, so you need a dizzy drive, which is a slot. So if I go back over to the cams, I'll show you which is which. So these are the two cams, and if you forgot which way round it was, you always know that the slot side there, that's the intake cam. So if I pick this one up, I'm going to be dealing with the intake, and that's the exhaust cam. Right, now I need to figure out how to get this bolt out of here. There's usually a couple of ways of doing it, although to be fair, there might not be with this cam. Some cams have a hex in the middle, these don't. So what I'm going to have to do is place these in the soft jaw of a vise and undo it. So place this side of the soft jaw and then undo the bolt on the end. Here we have the setup. Don't worry, I don't think the bubble wrap is going to protect it. I'm mainly doing that because I've got the soft jaws in there. I don't want loads of bits from the soft jaw ending up on the cam itself. You notice I've put it so I'm not vicing it from that end, I'm vicing it from close to where I'm going to put the torque in, and then I'm just going to undo that, which is a 14mm single hex. So let's go. There you go. Push that off. There's the bolt. So now what I want to do really is spin it up so that that little keyway is facing up. It will just be easier. Gear out of here. Standard intake gear out. You can see that's the seal on the back. I'm replacing that. So now is the time to put a new seal on. So I think I'm going to have to take that out. So just get a little bit of lubrication on, just to help the seal go over. Just rub a bit on around the seal. Then that should just slip over there like that. There you go. Then this goes back in. See, it's a little half moon thing, but it's got a thick end. The thicker end faces out towards you, and the flat side is on the top, obviously. So that just ends up back in there. And then you grab new cam gear, which also has the keyway in. That's in there like that, and then you just can get your bolt again. I'm actually going to tighten these down fully once they're installed on the engine, because then I can lock the two together, and then it will mean that it won't be slipping in the vise. There's these two Allen bolts on here. The size is 10mm, and I'm doing them up to 24 Newton meters. And I've already fitted the new washers in there. that's that. And the reason why you want to do that is because when you drop the cams in, it's obviously going to obscure that. Got one more to place on, and then again I've got this new washer which I'm just going to place on there like that. Another thing I don't want to forget are these two bolts. So this is for the thermostat housing. You've got a large one which is M6 by 1.0 and 80mm long, and you've got again M6 by 1.0 and 45mm long. And I'm just going to stick these in here before I forget. The short one goes in the bottom and the longer one goes in the top. Obviously a bit of copper slip as well goes on. Before I put the cams in, I want to rotate the engine so it's actually in TDC. So you can see here, this is where the mark is and this is where the engine is currently. Now I need to rotate this engine. You should be able to see that little orange mark I've placed there. That's just so I can put this whole thing back together again and still know where that mark's going to be. Back in place. Okay, then the little key is there. Then we've got the TVD, or torsion vibration damper, like that. And then we can wind in this, and this is a 19mm. So this is the hockey stick device. You see it's quite a big thing, big arm on it, and that just goes in here, stops this moving, and then you can just get your 19mm in there, and then that should do it. And it's just so that when I go anti-clockwise this thing doesn't unwind itself. And then I'm just gonna, there's no cams in it now so I can't clatter anything. You can hear the sound. Because I've got some compression, which is always nice. I've got my spark plugs in as well. This would obviously be a bit easier if I... Right, so you can see there my orange mark is in line with that little arrow thing. So that means when I take this pulley off, everything's going to be in line, which is good. Okay, then the hockey stick thing goes in again, and then we're going to undo. So I'm going to take that bolt out, and I'm just going to fine tune where this pulley is ended up. Take this out. Okay, don't lose this little ring, and you can see we've got the line next to where that arrow is, which is where you want to be. And that means you're at TDC. Now is a good time to wipe off any of that ARP bolt grease you might have in any places, and then put some of this assembly lube all over the rocker assemblies and on the top of where they actuate. What I'm going to do is just flick all of these up. And then obviously slide all these rockers down. So now it's time to grab the cams. This is the inlet cam with a slot. This is the top position here. So you just basically want to rest the inlet cam in position like so, and obviously with its seal in a nice position as well. So that's about right. Again, the exhaust cam, it's got that rounded end. And just placing the exhaust cam in. Okay. And that needs to be like there. Good. Now I can get the full assemblies that hold them down. First of all, I'm just going to place some this lubricant. One of the really nice things about this Honda is everything's labelled. So here you see it go, it says 1. It actually says I12. So you know you're in the right spot, because I'm on the inlet side here. And I'm just going to clean off any of this. You can see I've got some RTV on there. I'll clean off that first. So this is the exhaust cam cap number 1, so nearest you. And you just need to place some of this Honda Bond RTV just there, and get some in here as well, and I'll get some in that little hole crevice thing there as well. Okay, it should look like that when it's done, and then you can just place this in here like so, and then the inlet number 1 is the same. So again, I'm going to see where the RTV used to be. I'll just wipe that first. Okay, and then just come in, fill in that little valley, and that'll do it. Place that here. Then the back two, it really is this whole area there. Just make sure it's all there as well. This is the inlet, you can tell because it's got the raised bit there. Make sure there's nothing on that surface so the RTV can do its work. Let's move it a bit. There we go. It's in there like that. So the 5th cap for the exhaust side is actually a bit different to the rest of them, in the fact that it has this seal that sits in here like that. So this is the standard seal you get given with this kit, or you've got the Skunk 2 one, which is got these 3 little O-rings on it, and I also need to remove the old Honda Bond they also placed on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on using this because it worked very well. There's no real reason why this with some Honda Bond round it wouldn't have done the same job. But you know, if you've bought that, you may as well use it. The fact of the matter is it's actually very hidden. By the time you put the VTEC solenoid on, you can barely see it. But I know it's there, or whatever, so it's going back on. So here we have the Honda Bond in there. And then this is the Skunk 2 seal going in. As you can see, you want to point it up, not that you're going to see it anyway. But something like that. You can use those 2 dots to kind of line the whole thing up. And just place this cap with the Skunk 2 seal in, just like that. This has got that seal in there, and you can replace that now. There's a little O-ring which needs to go into the centre here, the orifice. It's a good time to place it in there. Okay, and then you can get your number 2 cap, and you see it's got an arrow pointing towards yourselves, and you can just place that in here like so. Number 3, which has the orifice hole in the centre where my thumb is. Again, the arrow is pointing towards yourselves. Get number 4, the arrow again pointing towards cam gears yourselves. And you can just get sort of a mallet and just tap lightly down, and then these cam gears should be approximately pointing up. They will move a bit because they're actuating the valves now. Torque spec to observe here, so it's 27 newton meters for all of the 12 mils and 9.8 newton meters for the outer ones, and you work from the inside out. So this is the intake and that's the exhaust side, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then on to the 10 mils, 11, 12, 13, 14. You do the same thing for the exhaust, which is this upper bit here. Right, now you can just place these carriers in there. So this is for the inlet, this is for the exhaust, and then just you can just do these up just by hand. Okay, and it's important that these studs are on the inside. And then just start tightening things down. Again, I'm not actually torquing these, just taking the slack out. Right. And then just whiz the 10s down a little bit. .27 newton meters. Tighten that off. What we're going to do is we're going to do the inlet and the exhaust at the same time. 1, 2 for the inlet. 1, 2 for the exhaust. 3, 4 for the inlet. 3, 4 for the exhaust. 5, 6 for the inlet. 5, 6 for the exhaust. That's an alien on the roof of the garage. 7, 8 for the inlet. 7, 8 for the exhaust. 9, 10 for the inlet. 9, 10 for the exhaust. Then take off your 12mm socket and place on your 10mm. This torque wrench only goes up down to 10 newton meters, so we'll have to lock it off there. The spec is actually 9.8, but what's 0.2 newton meters between friends. So tighten that off. And then 11, 12. You've got to be very careful on this because it'll just be a very light sound. There we go. 11, 12 on the inlet, 11, 12 on the exhaust, and then 13, 14 for the inlet. Just finishing off 14 for the inlet, and that's the inlet cam finished. And now 13, 14 for the exhaust. You just want to wipe off all the RTV, so that'll be here, around there, here, over there, then the exhaust side, here, there, there, and there, just so no big lumps are sticking out. And then you're done. It's all torqued up.